Well, hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by our good friends at Yeti, David Nuño, Nick Savage behind the glass. Nick, favorite part of today's show?
Got to be the final countdown always. But, I mean, Andy Staples was on the money as well. Big guest. So, yeah, I was happy to see him join, and it's Friday, so we got football tomorrow.
Yeah, we got football. Billy was obviously here, the final countdown, OB, Andy Staples, as Nick mentioned there. It was a good time. I think the vibe of the show all week was kind of like grumpy.
Really meh.
Grumpy. But, you know, I think we finished on a high note. Here's TexAgs Rewind. Let's get into these matchups, my friend.
Well, let's talk about some of the more obvious ones right away.
Okay.
How about that ULM running game against the A&M run defense? By the running game, we're talking about running backs Hunter Smith and Isaiah Woolard. Hunter Smith has had two back-to-back 100-yard gains. He had a long touchdown run, 62 yards, and that went over Army. So back-to-back 100-yard gains from this guy. And then Isaiah Woolard, grad transfer from Ole Miss. He once ran for 64 yards against Texas A&M when he was playing in Oxford. Right now, 169 yards on just 24 carries. 75%. Listen to this. 75% of his yardage gain has come after contact.
Right.
So...
And we already know that this team has struggled with contact.
Yeah, all we can do is hope that they don't throw to him.
Right. Or yards after catch, not contact. But yes, same thing.
That's the strength of their team. Well, A&M has done really well. No team has rushed for over 100 yards against them yet. They're 25th, I think, in the nation in run defense, maybe 30th, which is an enormous step from what they were a year ago. So I think that is a matchup of strength against strength.
Strength against strength. But is it really going to be a strength for ULM?
Well,
we'll find
we
out.
would think that A&M has the advantage there. They don't go out and prove it. But what they have done well, if you're looking for anything that they've done well, it's running the football.
Hey, and I'm sorry, it is real easy to get mad about certain things, and I understand why we get mad. But you do have to give props. That was their biggest issue defensively last year. They have corrected it so far. Now they just need to correct everything. Continue.
Right. Okay. Let's look at what I think is going to be, and I'm going to bounce around from offense to defense. What I think is going to be a really interesting individual matchup.
2020 happens, and we still think we were probably robbed of the playoffs, and then it's just been a worse, and I don't think it's going to get worse because this has been the year that we've been pointing at, but here we are after a very disappointing defense, Andy.
Yeah, and that's the part that I think probably is the most frustrating because last year it was offensive frustration and when's that ever going to get fixed? And it looks like it's stuck in mud. The offense looked smooth. Connor Wegman is the guy at quarterback. And even in that game where he had a few moments where early in the second quarter where it looked like he might be a little shaky, he got it back together and they were moving the ball. I mean, he looked in command. The play calling was good. And then you can't generate a pass rush. You can't tackle on the back end. And I know they had trouble stopping the run last year, but it felt like the other issues were not as prominent. And so what happened? How did they backslide? Which, it doesn't feel like they lost that much from a talent standpoint. And they, allegedly had some really good young players waiting in the wings. That's the part that is the most mystifying. I will say though, maybe reserve judgment. I know if you're a fan, you probably can't do that, especially after 2 years of frustration. But let's find out if Miami's really good, because it could just be that.
I think, though, and I agree with you, we're at a point, it doesn't matter if Miami's really good. This is year 6.
Right, you're supposed to be really good, too. Yeah, I got you.
It's so frustrating, too, because what you just said there, last year, I was of the opinion, you fix the offense, this team is really good. They fixed the offense, and then you stopped the run. By the way, you were terrible stopping the run last year. You're stopping the run this year. Now you can't stop the pass. It's like one new issue after another. Do you see any potential personnel changes there?
You talking about outside of the DN?
Well, outside of the back end, do we see more Malik Sealy?
Yeah, I think you have to. Listen, it's a year and 2 games, and they've had how many sacks do they have in New Mexico? 2.
Yes, and 2 against Miami.
So 22 sacks in 14 games. That's not enough. So at the end of the day, coaching is about X's and O's knowledge, and it's about putting your players in a position to succeed. It's about recruiting to your system. It's about making what you have on campus work. It's about after the season's over, but really now be looking ahead and say, what do we need to make this system work? What pieces are not good enough, and to fix it. But at the end of the day, too, it is adjusting to it's so much of it is adjusting to what you see on the field compared to what you have on your football team. So when they see on the field, and it proves itself out that, man, on third downs, we're not getting enough pressure. You know, when that happens, we're not getting enough pressure on third down. Well, then you've got to get other guys out. Our 4-man rush is not getting enough pressure. Change it. And try other guys and go, okay, well, why isn't it? Well, maybe you have a lot of these guys are power-based rushers. There's no doubt. They bull rush. They might hit you with a spin move, but it's generally a lot of power, and that's fine. And I think a lot of those guys are going to be playing at the next level, and they're going to help A&M win a lot of games. But when it's third and a certain distance, I think you get your guys out there that, like a Malik Silla, who can reach you from here, and maybe even get creative in like a linebacker like Martrell Harris, maybe obviously an Eni White. That's why you went out and recruited those guys. They were borderline 5-stars themselves, top 50, 60 players in the entire country.
My freak of the week. Let's go.
Week of the freak.
Dude, how about a little Reuben Owens?
Oh, interesting.
I got
Good one.
I really he's shown some flashes that have gotten me a little excited. As a true freshman, I'm like, dude, this guy's going to be a beast out in the backfield, catching the ball. Once and you know when he's running too, like he's getting hit, he's falling for 2 or 3 yards. He may look tall, may look long legs, but dude, there's some power in those legs. He's not getting knocked back at the line of scrimmage. He's falling forward. Once he figures things out, gets a pass pro and everything worked out, I think he's going to be our workhorse.
So
I'm going to go with Walter Nolan and getting him active and changing up some of the things that they did, hopefully on defense, and letting him tee off versus ULM, because the only thing that I can leave the ULM game with and feel confident of going into Arkansas is that our defense changed something and they're doing something different versus the same stuff and winning. Because the same stuff and winning doesn't help us against Arkansas, in my opinion.
Or Auburn.
That's what whoever we're playing next. So
okay.
I like that D-line one because ULM hasn't thrown for I think they've thrown for I don't know if they've topped 100 yards passing in either of their first 2 games. So they're going to try to do, I would have to think, this line up, don't get your quarterback killed. If you can run 3-4 yards, get first downs, and take this crowd and frustrate everybody early because of what happened to A&M last week, then do that. That's your chance. It's actually what ULM did here a few years ago when they almost beat Kyle Allen. The Aggies had the ball. If they didn't, they were about to give it back to ULM to
what
win
was
it.
that, dude? That was horrible.
And then went the next week, and beat number 3 Auburn. Beat the brakes off. So early.
Gosh.
My freak of the week, I think I'm going to go actually, Nuño, with someone we haven't said. And I'm torn between 2 guys, and you'll know who the other one is when I say it. But I'm going to go Moose Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. Nick, close us out, buddy.
Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Keep subscribing. Y'all have been blowing it up. If you're not subscribed, help us out. And, beat the hell out of the Warhawks